Can you make a living tutoring on Cambly? Well, it's not really that easy of a question. There are a lot of things to consider, such as where you live, um, what is your goal as far as what you want to make per month or what you need to make per month. You want to make sure that your input and your output is kind of, balanced to where you can make it. So, with all those things into consideration, let me break it down for you. We don't want to make this too complicated. We're going to simplify this. Let's just go by hourly pay. So, when I'm doing my budget, I like to round down instead of rounding up. I like to round down so that any extra I get is like icing, right? So let's just round it down to $10 per hour, period. So say you are, you get approved to teach the Cambly kids, and you have kids, you have adults, or maybe you're solely kids, great. But let's just do, just for math's sake, $10 per hour. Now, how much are you trying to make a month? Depending on where you live. Let's say that you're like, okay, for me to be okay, I need to make $3,000 a month. I live in Oklahoma. Cost of living in my state is low. Some of you live in other countries. Some of you guys are digital nomads and you want to travel. And a dollar goes very far, depending on where you like to travel to. So, I live in Oklahoma. Cost of living is low. So you have to look at cost of living where you live as far as making a living. So I can do it. $3,000 a month. I can pay my mortgage, all my utilities, and still have money left over. Now, if you're living in California, your rent might be $3,000 a month. I have 5 children. One is an adult, so I have 4 minor children that I still have in the home, and I can completely do it off of $3,000 a month. I can do it. We just won't be able to eat out as much as we do now because mommy gets tired and doesn't like to cook. But I can do it. Let's do some math. Let's get to it. Okay, so here we go. We have the calculator. So now let's calculate. Now remember we said $10 an hour. We're rounding down, I know, but when you're doing your budget, it's best to round down so that anything extra is your icing. That's your icing. It's like, yay, I did it, I got it, and you're not sweating, right? So we're going to round down to $10 an hour. It's very likely that you would make $12 an hour. But technically it's $10.20 an hour, right? Okay. Now, $10 an hour, and say you work the standard 40-hour week. So I know you guys can do this mental math, but we're just going to do this for the sake of visuals. 40 hours a week, like, standard USA jobs, full time, that's $400 a week. Now, roughly, there are 4 weeks in a month. So, you will make about $1,600 a month. About, right? So, maybe you can do it off of $1,600 a month. Maybe that's wonderful. You're like, I got this. That's all I need. So then, as long as you make this, you're okay. Now, remember we said, say our goal is $3,000. I live in Oklahoma. $3,000 is doable. It's very doable. So $3,000 a month, right? I know you guys can do the mental math, but we're going to go ahead and calculate this out. So we want to divide that by 10. $10 an hour. So that would mean I would have to work, or you would have to work 300 hours a month to make $3,000. Now, how do I break that down weekly? So 300 divided by 4, right? Because there's roughly 4 weeks in a month. So we're going to divide that by 4. So to get 300 hours a month, every week I need to work, or you would need to work, approximately 75 hours. Okay, so we're at 75 hours, right? Now, 75 hours a week. How would I break that down by day? Say you were to work every day, 7 days a week. So we're going to divide that by 7. You would need to work approximately 11 hours a day, every day of the week, to make 75 hours for that week, right? Now, say you wanted to crunch that 75 into just 5 days instead of 7 days a week. You're like, hey, I need my off days. Oops. So here we go. You would need to work 15 hours a day. Now, Cambly does cap it because they're like, hey, you're insane. You need to get some sleep. You're going to burn yourself out. So they do cap it because they do like quality tutoring. So you might notice that once you get in there, you're not able to make yourself available 15 hours a day. I think, I have to double check this, but I think the max, they cap it at around 12. I think 12. So the most you can work in a day's period is 12 hours, I believe. Somewhere around that. But I want you to get in your mind that Cambly does cap you off in a 24-hour period because they do want you to get some rest. They don't want you to be crabby and irritable and hungry. They want you to rest. They want you to eat. And they want you to love what you do and keep coming back. So you would have to at least work 6 days out of the week. And then if you did that, you can work 12 and a half, about 12 hours a day. If you did it 6 days out of the week and had one off day. You see where I'm getting at with this? Now, it's completely doable. I've seen people that post, if you go to like Facebook, they do have Cambly groups. And I have seen people post that Cambly is their full-time job. And they open up their hours like that's what they do all day. Like they eat by the computer. They, in their little 5-minute breaks, if you saw my other video about your 5-minute breaks, they're like scarfing down food in their 5-minute breaks and they're eating. Or they might take a 1-hour break in the day and the whole rest of the day they're working. And then they might take one off day a week. But they do this. Like they will max out their schedule and they work Cambly full time. Now, it greatly depends on where you live as to whether or not you feel you can make a living off of Cambly. If you live in a place like Taiwan or what's another place? My dad just moved to the Philippines. The USD goes very far in places like that. So it really depends on where you live. In the United States, I'm in Oklahoma, so $3,000 is completely doable. I can pay my mortgage, I can pay all my utilities, have food in the house. I don't have a car payment, so I mean, as long as you don't have a car payment, or at least your car payment is very low, you could still live a good life in Oklahoma off of $3,000 a month. You could. Now, if you live in California or New York or some place equivalent to that cost of living, then only thing this is going to do is probably pay a couple of bills. So no, you will not be able to make a living whatsoever off of Cambly if you lived in a region such as those. So it really depends on where you live. But I wanted to do the math here just so you can see. Now let's round up. Let's say, you know what? I'm qualified to teach kids. Let's go to the 3,000, right? I want to make $3,000 a month because I live in an area that cost of living is not that high. So then we divide that by 12. So you would have to work 250 hours a month to make $3,000 a month if all of your appointments happen to be kids' appointments. Now let's divide that by 4, like we did before. 62 and a half hours a week. And let's divide that by, if you worked every single day of the week, then you would only need to work about 9 hours a day. Typical work day, right? Say you're like, I don't want to work 7 days a week. I only want to work 5. Then you would have to work 12 and a half hours a day. So you'd have to max your schedule out for 5 days a week. If you were certified to teach the Cambly kids, you got approved for that, then you would make more money. That little $2 an hour difference, really, it's $1.80 an hour difference, really makes a big difference when you do the full math equation of this is what I have to live off of. You also have to keep in mind that what if your schedule doesn't fill completely up? Just because you make yourself available for 10 hours a day, are you going to get paid for 10 hours a day? Will you have clients for 10 hours a day? It's completely doable. Completely. You totally want to start off with priority hours to get those clients in there, get regulars, and then once you get out there and you meet people, trust me, business will be booming. You will have people in your inbox messaging you, asking you, hey, I want to be on your schedule. Can you put me in every week at this time on these days? You will get that. So it's completely doable, but you have to decide for yourself, is it doable for you and what your cost of living is? Just sitting here late at night. I just got the kids down and I'm about to go to sleep because I have Cambly in the morning. So hopefully this video was helpful for you to decide, is Cambly something that I can do to make a living? Now, as far as getting degrees or whatnot, if this is something that you want to do in the process while you're getting your degrees, great. Now, if you're trying to get a bachelor's degree or master's degree to work on Cambly, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you don't even need a degree at all to work on Cambly. At all. You just need to be 18 years old and speak English fluently to work on Cambly. So don't get a degree just to be on Cambly. I hope I helped you out there. But if you're like, I have a bachelor's degree or I'm working towards one, can I be successful on Cambly? Yeah, you sure could. You sure could. There's a lot of people that do it. Can you live off of $10 to $12 an hour? Can you do that? So depending on your answer on that, that's your answer on the whole shabam bam. Shabam bam bam. Bam bam. So I hope this helped you. If you have any other questions, reach out and I'll be here to answer those questions for you. And as always, I'm about to go to bed. I got to get up. I have reservations during my priority hour for Cambly in the morning. TTFN. This is the end.